All right. So have you ever got the I can't afford it objection on a sales call? Of course, right? This is just one of the most common objections. We all get it. I've heard sales coaches out there before say things like, oh, if they say they can't afford it, that's just a lie. And you should just sort of keep on keeping on and the whole bit. And like, here's the thing, sometimes they just legitimately can't afford it. And that's totally okay. We need to be understanding and loving, and we definitely don't want to pressure them into buying something that they simply can't afford, right? But we also want to make sure that affordability and the context of our pricing is somewhere inside of our funnel. So before they're getting on the phone call with us, they kind of have an idea, or you sort of have an idea of how much it's worth for them to solve this problem, right? And if that is not something that's built into the funnel, then you just might get a few people on through there that you get to the end of the call and they're like, oh my gosh, I really want to do this, but I simply can't afford it. Now, I'm going to show you how to handle the I can't afford it objection, okay? So most of the time when they can actually afford it, most of the time the reason that they are throwing that objection forth is because there is one of three things broken in the sales process, right? So it might be, number one, they don't trust you. And that doesn't mean they think you're shady, right? But they might just sort of be like, I just met this person. I'm still not 100% sure that they're the right person to help me get where I want to go, right? Number two, it might be that they don't trust themselves. Okay. So if they don't trust themselves, it might be like, oh, I kind of tried doing something like this before. They procrastinated and like, I just know that I'm not going to implement this. And so I'm not really sure that I'm willing to do what I need to do in order to move this forward. Number three, the third thing that could be wrong is that they don't trust the solution. Right? And this could just be that they don't have all of the complete information that they need in order to make a decision. Okay. So they don't trust you, they don't trust themselves, or they don't trust the solution. We don't really know which of those it is. And so what we want to do, our step here to take the I can't afford it objection off the table, is we want to essentially just sort of like loop back around to some of these certain things. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. So if this is the first objection that they've pushed out to you, the first step that we're going to do is we're just going to remove the objection. So that's just something like, okay, so if money was not an object, right? So we're just removing that objection from the conversation. So if money was not an object, and then we want to validate the idea, okay? So we're just looping right back up into here, into the trust the solution piece. And really, there's not a whole lot we can do here except give them time, give them space, keep talking on a little bit, but treading very, very carefully. So we're going to loop first back up into the solution. Is it the solution that is broken? So we're just going to say something like, if money was not on the table, if money was not an issue, how do you feel about the idea? How do you feel about the offer itself? If it were free, or if you were a millionaire and you had all of the money in the world? Okay. And we just want to feel into what are the things that they think that might be missing. And we can ask them that. We can say, is there anything else that is missing from this to make it the perfect offer for you? Okay. And let's just say they're like, oh my gosh, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. It's just amazing. It's definitely the solution that we want. Then we're going to loop back up to, do they trust themselves? Right? So in order to figure out, is it a trust in themselves, right? We may ask them something like, okay, so let me just ask you this, right? The offer sounds really, really good to you. How do you feel about your ability to implement the offer? Okay. And once we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into, so we're going to validate the idea. We're going to validate that they trust themselves. And then we're going to go back and we're going to give more benefits. So let's just say that they said, I'm not 100% sure that I fully am going to do the work because I've signed up for this stuff before. And then, I wasn't feeling well, or I just got really busy with clients and I just really didn't get the work done. And so I'm just not really sure that I want to invest in something that I don't know that I'm going to be able to accomplish. So then you can loop back in and say, oh, I totally understand that. So something that I didn't mention is the fact that we have this accountability piece that's built into the program itself, because we totally understand that you are a super busy business owner, you're blah, 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 right? Like you just want to kind of loop back and give them more benefits. But here's the important part, okay? You want to link those benefits to their need. Right? So link those benefits to their need or their desire. So their need is going to be earlier in the pricing or earlier in the sales conversation. You would have asked them, what are some of the potential roadblocks that we foresee? Maybe there were some blocks that came up in when you were validating the idea or validating their trust in themselves, right? So maybe there were some things where you said, what are some of the things that would make this the perfect solution for you? And maybe they said, well, I was really looking for more one-on-one support, right? Then you might say, well, actually, we do have a good amount of one-on-one support built into this, but here's how you can get more help, right? So you're just sort of linking it back to that. Or let's just say that nothing really came up there and they're like, I don't know, I just don't know if I can afford it, right? They're kind of like pushing the objection back to you, and you can say, I totally understand. So here's the thing. We know that this program is going to create a great ROI. A couple other things that I didn't mention are the fact that it does this thing, right? So I didn't mention that you're going to have lifetime access to this information. So I get that you're super busy right now, but here's the thing. You don't have to complete it within this 4-month window. You can complete it whenever you want. I get that you're working in this other job, that you need the money project so that you can build up the project that you love. And so therefore, we have created the pricing structure that you only pay us on the incremental revenue that you earn, right? So we want to just sort of stack in some other benefits there that are going to go back to it. And then we're going to ask for the sale again. Okay. So once you get back through that, then you can just say, let me just ask you here, what do you feel is the next best step for you? Do you feel that, given the information, you've told me that you're totally bought into the solution, that you're totally bought into yourself. Hopefully you're totally bought into me. So let me just ask you, are you ready to take this step? And that's it. 9 times out of 10, what will happen is that they will either give you a second objection, okay? And in that case, you're just going to link back, give them more benefits to handle that objection, or they're going to buy, which is fantastic, right? Yay, that's exactly what we want them to do. They may come back with the exact same objection. They might just say, well, I just don't know if I can afford it. At that point, we're usually going to end the call. It's not going to happen very often, but it will happen sometimes. And often that means that it's a valid objection. So this is a great process here to really loop back up. So let's just say that, to draw this out a little bit more contextually for you, and we have the sale down here, right? They need to trust you, themselves, and they need to trust the thing, right? So we're pushing them all the way down throughout the sales conversation. We get an objection, and then we start pushing back up and validating these things, right? And then we bring them back down into asking for the sale. Make sense? All right, guys. So I hope that this was helpful for you. So excited to be doing a lot of these videos, and I will see you next week. All right. Bye for now.